Alright, so this is Blackwoods, and this is just going to be kind of a playthrough of the first few missions. I might do the whole thing, it's not a super long game, so I could just do kind of like a walkthrough of the whole thing. But other than that, it's also kind of like a bug fixing session for me. I want to see if there's anything left, that's a major bug or a big issue. I have a feeling that some of the achievements might not work perfectly, so we're gonna have a look at that and see if we can figure it out. There's one thing that I definitely want to check in the second mission, so we're gonna get up to at least there, and yeah, we'll kind of talk about what this game is about. But yeah, we can just start a new game right here, and we'll go on normal, I guess. The one thing that I will say is, I gotta really thank the people that helped on this, the VAs and the artists and the music people. There's some really good work in here that I'm super proud of, and yeah, everybody that helped me, I appreciate that. So let's just get started. Yeah, here are some of the VAs. Did some great work on this, especially because the way that I did this, it's not a proper setup, so it was a lot of people reading lines who didn't hear what they were responding to. They didn't have other people's lines because I didn't have everyone's lines, so it was difficult, and I'm actually so happy that it turned out as good as it did. So yeah, we'll just continue through this and we'll start. I won't talk too much when there's dialogue, but yeah, other than that, I'll talk a little bit. So this is just a training. This just kind of goes through the basic controls, but you can skip this. You just go to the door if you don't want to do the training.
So, some of our spies saw FSB agents take a girl to the forest. Who knows who you may be? They have recently been building the prisons in bunkers because they're afraid that we can see them from the sky. We know the area, but not the exact location. Do we have an attachment nearby?
Hawk is in the area, but he is alone.
Okay. Send him in. Let him know the pressures of being a captain.
He is alone. I suggest we wait just a little longer.
Do you realize that could be my daughter? Unless you can tell me where she is. Send him in.
But he has no weapons.
You can improvise.
Okay, so that's kind of the setup. You start almost in media res, but it's not quite.
Find that bunker. I'm on it. Once you have secured it, we'll send in our rangers and free her. Make use of any
Yeah,
you can. Godspeed.
I've heard that intro so many times that it's kind of burned into my brain now. So yeah, this is essentially the gameplay. You start this level with no weapons, and even if you restart this level later, you always start with no weapons, just to kind of make it fair and make this first part make sense, where you have to sneak up on this guy. I did have some issues that I've kind of solved now. Like, for example, this weapon, because the weapons, the dropped weapons, or the world weapons that you can pick up, they come in two varieties. By default, it's a fading weapon, which means there's kind of a timer on it, where if it times out, the weapon will disappear, because you don't want a whole load of physics objects, especially because these weapon models are pretty detailed. You don't want them just kind of hanging out in the map the whole time. So after a while, if you haven't picked them up, it's kind of assumed that you don't want them, so they disappear. But the ones that should be in the level, that are important, like this one, they shouldn't fade out. So I have kind of a check to tell the difference between weapons that should stay there and weapons that should fade away. But this one for example, was set to fade away, which it shouldn't have been. And it's something that I didn't notice for a long time, because usually when I start a level, I just come here, kill this guy, pick up his gun, and pick up this gun. But, you know, at some point I did testing where I was at the start of the level and just was hanging out there for a while. I didn't test. And when I came here, this weapon was missing because it had faded out, and I never noticed that. The other issue that I did have was the weapons, especially the smaller ones, falling through the floor, just because they're physics weapons, and you know, the floor is kind of thin. You know, it's just a landscape layer, so you get issues with that. But that seems to be mostly fixed. It'll probably still happen, you know, in rare cases. That's just the nature of physics items. Yeah, you can shoot these guys and break the Geneva Convention if you want. Okay, so this is dual wielding. It is difficult to aim, but that's why I made like the tracer rounds. They're not realistic. You can see how big they are, but that's kind of to help you aim when you don't have the benefit of ADS. We'll pick up this. No, I'll throw this at him. That seemed like a headshot. I don't know. That seemed like a headshot. But yeah, the throwing weapons, if you hit them with it, it will always kill them, right? Yes, it's kind of OP, but I want that to be useful. Yeah, there's no point in being able to throw weapons if they... Oh crap, this guy has an AK. We'll take that. Just unlock the weapon. Yeah, I didn't want the throwing weapons to be useless, or just kind of a, you know, a dumb little thing. I want it to be pretty useful.
Great job.
And if you look at games like Super Hot or Hotline Miami, the throwing weapons are pretty powerful.
Back to your base. Reservation 12 instructions.
So yeah, there's not many levels with kind of intro and outro cutscenes, but there are some just to set it up a little bit.
Who's the girl?
Well, I can tell you that it wasn't my daughter.
And then yeah, we have
I
this.
suggest you do not reveal anything else about your family, for risk of revealing yourself.
Huh? Well, you can speak to the Jarl. She says she has something that can help us
They captured your daughter?
to use as a bargaining chip. Bastards!
I'm certain I saw her. I'm sorry. They killed her. They all know who you are.
How could you possibly?
What? That? It cannot be!
They fear Cornered Wolf with nothing to lose. If you want revenge, let your intentions be known. I can help you. I know exactly where it will hurt them most. They will fear all of you as phantasms.
Ilk, this is not how we operate.
So yeah, that's kind of like the debrief, little dialogue. Most missions have something like that, and there's also usually an intro. The first mission obviously has a different one where it has that kind of cutscene from the training, but I think if you replay the first mission, it does the intro in here, in this level, which you'll see for the second mission, how that goes. I think I'm happy with the weapons. I probably have the 2 best weapons equipped. Unless I want... You know what, I might just do it just to show, because this isn't explained completely. This is something you have to figure out yourself. I think it's in one of the loading screen tooltips. But if you have a dual wieldable weapon, so you see it's dual wield, yes. If you have a dual wieldable weapon in your weapon A slot, then when you start a level, you'll have a second one, like here on your chest, kind of. I will show. It's also pretty good to go into these Blackwoods missions and just select one. Right now you start with 0 supplies, but there's always going to be at least one mission that costs 0 supplies to start. So you can always do these. And these are kind of like no risk missions. This difficulty is 1 out of 10, so it'll probably get past, you know, it's pretty simple. It will take an hour and 15 minutes real world time, whether you're playing the game or not. So yeah, it's good to just start this. You won't get that many supplies back, obviously, because it's a low-risk mission, and you'll never get like really good rewards like secret weapons and stuff from the low-risk ones. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the main reason you're doing it, is to get supplies that are used to. So here's the real-world time that it will finish. You're using it to get supplies so that you can buy these weapons here. We're moving in the menu. So yeah, you can use your supplies to buy these kind of weapons. And I think some of these you can unlock in levels, or maybe not. Maybe I changed that. Yeah, the only one that I'm thinking is this one. I definitely had, this is either the FAL or the G3, and I definitely had this in one of the levels or two of the levels, but I may have changed that where this one is now unique to the store, and either the FAL or the G3 is now in the 2 locations in the levels that I had before for the FAL and the G3. So yeah, I don't know. I assume and I think that all of these can only be obtained here in the store. So you use supplies to get these, and you can also find supplies in the levels in like crates. So you want to keep an eye out for those. So yeah, let's just get into it, into the main mission. So we've completed the first one. You can see there's also a little icon that shows there's a collectible in this one. I won't show where all the collectibles are. I might show 1 or 2, not this one, because I actually like the hiding spot for this one. But yeah, I might just show kind of what the collectibles look like, but it's pretty simple, and when you have one, they all look the same, and they all have like a sound cue when you're close. So yeah, we'll start this level.
In his infinite wisdom, Vilk has taken his team to secure a tank. He intends to destroy everything in his path. He has sent a letter to the local government promising to bring hellfire to their doorsteps, and other bravado, which will get us nothing. While I disagree with his plans, I can only hope that they come to benefit us eventually. You, Hawk, you are more level-headed. I need you to ambush a convoy. We have their route. Some of our men will stop them, and I need you to swoop in from behind. I trust this should not be too difficult for you, Captain.
So that's kind of like the intro, and yeah, most missions will have something like that. And here's kind of the first vehicle
You're
section.
late. The convoy has already been stopped. Get in there fast. Our men are dying walking with you.
I'm moving.
But it's just a straight drive, so it's kind of whatever. And then you have that super kind of calm 80s music. So oh yeah, I can get my second weapon here, and that's what I'm talking about. Wow, I'm already low on health. That's what I'm talking about. It'll spawn a second weapon for you only if it's in your primary slot. That's the only thing that it's checking. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, got him too.
Good job. I'm getting a lot of radio interference.
Good to have a look around.
So yeah, these guys were our teammates. Sometimes they take out a few of them. They took out a couple, but I still had to take out most of them. Yeah, you can see they didn't do too high. Yeah, I think the MP40 is actually very good. I know I swapped it out for this just so I can have both of them. I will actually show one secret weapon, just because it's the early one and it's not like a super OP weapon. I can never find it myself. It's in here somewhere in the forest. Ah, here it is, I think, yeah. So, this is the only location you can get this Mosin Nagant. I guess the lore reason that it's here is some hunter left it behind. I don't know. It comes with 4 bullets, but I think it will normally have 5 when you start. So, yeah, essentially, this is where you're supposed to go next. Basically, you were told that there's a lot of radio interference, so you want to look for what can be interfering with the radio signals, and you see these giant radio towers. So the idea is you come to this building, but it's empty until you find these lockers back here, and you can move them out the way. So you push it, and you find this little secret room here. So one thing that I do want to check is I always have issues with the debrief dialogue after this mission, and I think I have an idea why, but I just want to check it. So anyway, we have this kind of radio thing, and we want to figure out what's happening. You press the buttons, and like you're swapping the numbers up here. This one swaps the colors. You find this little note, KBPA, command initiated, 311478. And you have 6 numbers up here, so the obvious thing is to match the numbers from here to the ones up here. So what's this one? So that's the 4th number is controlled by this knob. So it's 478. So 4. This one 438. 7. So these ones are 478. You want to use this to change the color. And now these control the 3 numbers on this side. I'm sorry, I spoke over her. So it's 311. 3, 6, 1, 4, 7, 8, and then you're just going to change this to 1. And now we have the transmission. One thing I want to check here, I need to do something real quick. And I can't show you this because this is it's something that I do in this bonus code screen to get up a save editor. So I'm going to skip over this real quick. I just need to check something. Okay. So I checked it, it looks good right now. I'm gonna have to check it again before the level ends.
Mushroom, I have something for you. It seems they're sending in more tanks from St. Petersburg. They're stuck somewhere in Estonia, in the woods.
You know they're trouble. You're not just gone, are you?
Okay, well I didn't get to press the button, so let's hope this works.
Great job on cracking their
Oh, okay,
codes,
so-
Hawk.
Great.
It wasn't really that difficult.
But Vilk is still missing. He did not return from his mission. Therefore, I will be taking control of Blackwoods for now. His team returned with a T-10, but they said that Vilk just disappeared after they got the tank.
Okay, so there's one thing there. When it's fading, I think I need to ignore that pause input, because you saw I kind of went to the pause menu because I was spamming the pause button to try to get into my save editor to check that everything was working, but that seemed to work fine. Okay, so that bug at least seems to be kind of fixed for now. Yeah, I think that's the first 2 levels. I'll show the 3rd level here real quick. So it's the fuel crisis level. And yeah, in that one you're playing as a different character. You'll see in the bottom left it has that Call of Duty style, mission intro thing that tells you who you're playing as. Yeah, there are a few little secret things you can do in this home base, because this is where you're always sent back between missions. Like, a good way to just make a couple of supplies is this code breaker, where you just... The trick is just you find the number in the code and you press it on the keypad. So that's 5, so you get your 5 supplies. And it will tell you if you were late or if the number is wrong. So if I just press 7, I was wrong. Whatever, I think it was 0. There's 1, there's another 5 supplies. If you press it when there's nothing there, it will assume that you're late. So if I press it after, it says late. And yeah, that's it. It just, you can swap the brightness levels, doesn't really do much. But yeah, you can just earn a few supplies this way, but it's only 5 supplies at a time, so it's not a lot. This is mostly, I would say, just if you're like, 15 supplies short of starting a mission or, of getting a weapon, you just come here and you get those extra supplies. There's also an achievement for doing this for the first time. And that achievement seemed to be working okay. I've already earned it, so you won't see it again. Although, what I didn't earn is the achievement for the 2nd level. So that's definitely something that needs to be looked into. But yeah, that's basically it. That's where we're at, and I think I'll leave it here for now. I might do a couple more levels after this, just a second video to follow up. But this is kind of an intro to it. It shows most of what the game's about. It just continues like that. So yeah, thanks.